Okay, my brain's weird today, okay?
When is it not?
It's like a puttering European moped. All right, so my publisher reached out to me, and this popular TV network is looking for tracks that are ambient and dark. And these type of tracks, they usually sit underneath dialogue in TV shows. So they like to have a collection of these tracks that they can grab and chuck it into a documentary or a show where there's tension in the scene. I love making this type of music, so I thought I'd show a bit into my creative process if you're looking to make music like this for television placements. It's important to remember there are going to be people talking over this, so we don't want to make something too intrusive. We want it to sit nice and like in the background, right? By the way, all the plugins I'm using are either free or they're included in LANDR Studio, so check that out, put the link in the description. I've created the markers here. It's really simple. It's like every 8 bars, the section changes. Right off the bat, I found this pad sound on Analog Lab Lite. And I've already chucked a reverb on it, this rev plate, so I'm just gonna record that in. Really simple. And then I'm gonna copy this over. Another thing that really makes this type of music impactful is hits. Just like a nice sub-boom hit. And I have this really nice sample library that I always use. Just like something like a sub-boom. And just go like this. Cool. So now when the song starts, it's gonna have this nice impact. Make sure it's not too loud. And I wanna have that just happening every 2 bars. Duplicate this. And then duplicate, duplicate. I'm starting to build up this pulse. So that pulse is gonna be the energy behind this that's gonna add that tension to this track. If you're wondering what type of tracks this is gonna be similar to, think of like the soundtrack for the movie Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina? Think of Ex Machina.
Ex Michelinas?
Really ambient, kind of ominous. That's what I'm going for. Add in a bass. Nice. Dun, dun, dun. Let's legato that, and then duplicate that. We have this nice intro so far. We have 2 sounds and we have the hits. To make it grow a little bit, what you can do is start to play with the frequencies being introduced. You take away the high end, it sounds a bit darker. You start to introduce that, it's gonna grow over time. So I can grab this auto filter, put it on this. You can hear that's kind of like a lot of high-end energy off the top. To make that grow in, just grab this, show the automation, and I'm just gonna have it build. And I can have it build even more if I put some more high-end information in the sound. So I'll turn up the brightness here. And then by here, it should be pretty bright. And it's gonna really transition nice into the next section. So that's great. Now I just wanna start stacking stuff to make maybe like a bit more texture. So I have Cube Mini by Lunacy Audio up here. That's kind of cool. Let's see what that sounds like. I'm just gonna play with the second half of the intro here. Come on, so easy. All right. I'm gonna record it. What happened here? That's weird. Did you hear that? Oh, I see. It's like a half step up and then it comes back down. Okay.
So easy.
Ooh, freaky. Okay, that's pretty cool though. Let's just try it. Maybe I'll pan it just a tad. Okay, perfect. Now we need some sort of rhythmic pulse or rhythmic energy that's kind of going to introduce a motif that I'll build into the next section as well. I found a really nice pluck sound in Zebra 2. So I'm just going to be like, yeah, we'll see if that works. Quantize it to 16th notes, and then duplicate that. And then maybe I'll have the volume just kind of fading in there so it's not coming in out of nowhere. It's kind of just growing, growing, growing. Perfect. I think that's good for my intro for now. Nice and simple, only 4 tracks plus those little boom things. Something I need to glue the sections together is a rise and an impact. So it kind of rises for a couple bars, and then we hit the build section, it builds even more, right? What I'm going to do is go into that pack again that I have, and there's some nice whooshes there. Something kind of like, yeah, something like that. Now, why do I like that? Because it's not too intrusive, like I've been saying these past couple times. So I'm just gonna align it with the beat. Turn it down quite a bit. That's good. The next thing I like to do is make my own whooshes. So what I can do is I'll grab a synth, a low note of it. So let's see what's in Analog Lab here again. Maybe like a lead. I need like a really strong kind of. I'm gonna go with that. Doesn't sound good now. So what I'm gonna do is freeze that and flatten it. And now I can just chop it here, delete this part, and then just fade it in, see if that works. And then that hit's gonna come in again. To make it even more extreme, to climb up, I can grab this auto filter. Like I did to that other thing on the intro, I'll just kind of like automate this opening up so I don't get hit with those high frequencies when it's fading in. So I want it to be all the way open. See if that does anything. Nice. And then maybe I'll have some tail on that. I'll grab the rev plate. So when that thing dies off, there's gonna be a tail of it instead of just falling off a cliff. I'll increase the decay time. Oh yeah, that's sick. And then I'll just kind of blend it in with everything else. Cool, so that is my intro. Okay, so now I'm at the build section. I'm gonna do exactly what it's called and build what I already have and continue to build it until the breakdown. So to do that, I can take the stuff that I've already recorded, like this, get rid of this automation here, bring it up even further so I have the full frequency spectrum. And then what I'm gonna do is just grab that note, put it an octave up, get a thicker sound. Now I'm gonna start introducing some melodic elements to this. So I'm gonna take this patch that I had here. Actually, I wanna keep that bass note. So I'm gonna bring in more frequencies, just like the top track. I need like another sustained note. I'll look through this Biotech plugin for something that'll work. I like that. There's too much high end. I'm gonna have to take some of that out. Let's just try it and see what it sounds like. 2 hands. I didn't even use a metronome, so I have to go in and fix everything. Let's see. I wasn't too far off though. There we go. Okay. I was pretty far off. I was pretty far off. Just gonna do that same thing I've been doing. Grab that auto filter, take out the high end. Maybe I can introduce it even more down the line. I wonder what those notes sound like up an octave. I always like to do this, record something. Maybe it's not sticking out the way I want. Take the notes, chuck them up an octave. Yeah, that sounds way better. And then I want to reintroduce that pulsing thing that I had earlier. I'm going to turn that into something that's going to complement that thing that I just made. So I'm going to start to bring some of the notes up an octave in this ARP that I have. So bum 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 bum. Right? You get where I'm going. A bit more development. Remember, I'm building, and I'll just duplicate that again. Duplicate all of this again. Don't overthink it. Just duplicate everything. I had to learn that over many years. Don't overthink it. Okay, so I'm gonna start building this with the auto filter I have on this track. So the more we get to that breakdown, and then we need some hits and stuff, obviously. What I wanted to do was introduce some new sounding hits. We've had this kind of sub boom the whole time. I did find a really cool hit Here in the quick picks of the LANDR samples, it's got an amazing sound effects section. It's really easy to find samples really fast. I just noticed this hit has like a pulse to it. And I kind of want it to be in time with my track, so I'm holding shift and I'm just stretching it here. Yeah, it's perfect, yeah. And then I'm gonna start to duplicate that every 2 bars. To see if it's working, we can make up a story like about Tim going down a dark alley and see if it works. There he was. The alley was in front of him, but he didn't know whether to go or not. He knew the pizza was on the other side, but it's a risk that he's willing to take. See, like, I'm feeling that. That's really great. I can feel the tension, and it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. That's a ridiculous story. Okay, so I'm duplicating those hits again, and then I'm gonna have these same things happening again as well over here, and then that's gonna be also duplicated. Sometimes I like to duplicate the same track, grab a different sound, and I'm gonna pan it to the other side. Let's try it. Nice. So those sounds, they're kind of complementing each other. They're different enough that when I spread them left and right, they're adding this nice stereo width to the track. So I'm gonna group those and send them through the same reverb, and it's gonna really bring them together, but also give them a spot to live in. I don't want it that crazy. Nice. I think that is good for the build section. I can always come back to it. For the breakdown, I ended up writing it while Tim was taking a nap on the couch there. I'm gonna summarize what I did. It's not very much different than the build section, but you'll hear it's a lot more intense. So this bass sound, I wanted to change a bit, so I ended up adding Shaper Box 2. I'm gonna automate it, so for the breakdown, it's gonna be on. So going from just a sustained note, now it's gonna pulse a bit for the breakdown part. I reintroduced the idea, the cube here, from the intro, but I only have it lasting for a shorter amount of time, so it's kind of just coming in and out. And then that's it. I took the pulses from the Zebra at the beginning and put them back in for the breakdown, just the single note pulses. And then I found this amazing clap from Mandala 2, and I freeze and flattened it, just kind of giving that eerie feeling. And finally, my favorite part, I found this really like meaty synth sound in Synth Master Player, and I automated the pitch automation to kind of fall off, so it gives it that kind of Brahm, like, Brahm. I didn't have to do that, I could just play the thing. And then finally, I found another different hit from that sound effects section on LANDR Samples, the quick pick section. So here's the breakdown section. I love that. I'm just reusing the hits that I made and that I have for the first sections. Now I'm at the climax. For the climax section, I'm just gonna copy everything I have for the build and just drag it over, and I'm just gonna be adding to this. But first I have to connect the two sections, so the breakdown to the climax. So what I'm gonna do is still use this, and since it's building, I'm gonna use these hits. I'll even have this clapping sound, and just keep that going. I'll bring in that full cube idea, and even that synth drop-off, I can have that in there, I think. And I'll have that hitting every 2 bars instead of every 4 here, like in the breakdown. Perfect. Really, really intense. Maybe I'll keep that Shaper Box 2 on so the bass keeps pulsing. So there's something missing. I think it needs to be like a higher note on top of everything to give it that final energy and drive it home. So I'm gonna look for like a string sound. I have the Spitfire Audio BBC Orchestra that I can grab. So let's try that. Just put it at long. I'll just grab those notes, pull them up here. Yeah, that's great. What if I like double those though? Maybe I can double them for the second half. So I'll just grab all the notes, drag them up an octave. Nice. And what I like doing, this is what I've been doing lately, is grabbing that tape plugin by Baby Audio. It gives it that warmth, and like for the uneasiness, I can turn up the wear, which is gonna add like a warble to it. So it's not quite in tune, it's kind of putting the listener on edge. I need like a longer riser, maybe like a 2-bar riser. I'm gonna go back to the sound effects category in the quick picks on the plugin here. Go to risers. Yeah, that's fine. It might be a bit too high, so you can just always like go in, turn the pitch down and see what it sounds like. It's just like another layer that adds to the ending of the track. Can I stretch it out a bit? It might get messy. I'm gonna change the algorithm here to complex and see if I can. Nice, perfect. One more thing I want to add to this, a low percussion, just in the background a little bit. It's just gonna add more pulse to this. Percussion, let's hear some of these. Let's try that. Okay, quantize this to 1/8 notes, and then I'm gonna have a hit at the beginning. How low does this go? It's kind of losing some of its smack down there, but let's try. Maybe if I compress it a bunch. And then it's gonna start over again. So outro, intro, same thing, different thing. I'm just gonna grab everything like I did earlier, copy, paste. Then I'm gonna have, obviously, instead of the auto filter going up, it's gonna start to fade out. And then these will come in. It's kind of like the opposite, like a mirror image almost. I'm gonna have them fade out slightly. And then even these hits can kind of start to come down. And that can come over here, and then these can be deleted. I think that's it. Let's take a listen. I could add more. You can always keep going. It does need a mix, I think. I did mix on the go, but there's probably some EQ stuff I could do. But I just wanted to get the idea out and have a full track to kind of send over to my publisher, see what he thinks, and hopefully get a placement. And that's it. I hope this video helped you understand dark ambient _ music. Let me know in the comments if it helped you think about this kind of compositional process, and we'll be back with another video soon. See ya.